Holy cow. What, just a cow? Yes. Let's talk about contracts in sports. And man, if you look at some of these contracts, they are so eye-popping. It would be enough to feed a small country. Hell, it would be enough to feed a big country. I mean, some of these contracts are getting a little out of hand. Actually, no, they're really out of hand. And I've noticed this for a few years. And the athletes always say the same thing. Well, I deserve to be paid so much because I need to have mansions and Lamborghinis and I need boats, and it's the reason athletes go bankrupt. And in NBA and in NFL, there is a salary cap. It does exist, that you can't go over the salary cap that is set. Now, each one is different. It's depending on the size of the market. Like the Dallas Cowboys, they have a great big salary cap. But you take somebody like Jacksonville, they don't have big salary caps. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Major League Baseball, they do not have any salary cap whatsoever. And if you look at some of the biggest contracts in history, which most of them have taken place in the last 5 years, if you can believe that. A lot of them taken place in the last 5 years, and you look at some of them like Mike Trout, $420 million. I'm not making this up. $420 million for 12 years. I'm going to get into that year thing here in a minute, because I don't want to forget that one. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., $500 million for 14 years. Let's skip over some of these and go to the top one. Juan Soto signed a 10-year deal, $765 million. And there's no salary cap. There's none. They can do these unbelievable contracts that are just ridiculous. Now, Major League Baseball, this is common. Though this is common that they will sign 10, 15, 20 years, because in Major League Baseball, unlike other sports, it's pretty common for players to play way past their 40s because Major League Baseball is not a contact sport. So it's pretty easy to, look at Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan played until his late 40s because he was a pitcher, and you only start one of every 5 days. So, so they can clearly play until their late 40s. The NFL is one of the biggest contact sports, and it's tough to play into your 40s. It's really tough. So when they do sign deals, they will be for especially when they're a rookie, they'll be for 8 years. But then after that, they know that there's a certain time frame before they start filling in their body, especially if you're like a quarterback or you're a running back. So they won't do these great big long contracts. And all of a sudden, even though it's one of the smaller contracts I've heard in Major League Baseball, which sounds funny when you say it. What? Yeah, I know. It's only 4 years, $240 million. I know, it's bad when you're saying only $240 million, because if you look at the top 10 contracts, it does not exceed it's not even in the top 10, maybe top 20. So Kyle Tucker signed a deal with the Dodgers, 4 years, $240 million. But now the Major League Baseball owners. Major League Baseball, to me, unlike the NFL, is more mafia run. It really is. It's more mafia run than any other sport, because the owners get together and decide what they want. And there's some owners that want a salary cap. There's some owners that don't. Oh, let me guess. It's probably the Yankees. They don't want a salary cap. It's probably the Dodgers. They don't want a salary cap. Let me guess, Astros. Probably some of the bigger markets, they don't want a salary cap because then that would hurt their chances of actually competing and actually becoming a World Series contender. So they need to have 22 or 30 owners, because there's 30 Major League Baseball teams. There's 22 to 30 owners need to say, yes, we need a salary cap. Do I think this is going to happen? Probably not. They probably need something more like the NFL, where they have like a players association and actually vote on it, because there's no way that the Major League Baseball is going to agree to this, because the owners delve out all types of money, because they have unbelievable contracts. And another thing is this. And I think this is also a very important tell, is the length of seasons. NFL is 17 games, so that's about 8 or 9 games at home. And the NBA is 82 games, so that's 41 games at home. And Major League Baseball, 162 games, and that means 81 games at home. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because this is why the owners have unbelievable pockets, because they have 81 home games to overprice their merchandise, overprice how much it costs to get into the stadium, and all that. So they have 81 home games to line their pockets. And let me tell you, the owners have lined their pockets because they have a lot of cash and on hand to do some of these enormous contracts. There's a lot of stuff that goes into why the contracts are so fat in Major League Baseball, because it's more mafia run than any other sport. It's always been that way with Major League Baseball, because they have unbelievable contracts. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. That I think it's the Mets. I believe it's the Mets. They are still paying out a contract for, I think it was not Barry Bonds, but Bobby Bonds. They're still paying on that contract, even though he hasn't played for the Mets in over 20 years and he has been retired. They still give him the money because this is the weird part in Major League Baseball, not so much in other sports. This is the weird part in Major League Baseball, is the money is guaranteed. Yeah, the money is completely guaranteed, that if they get injured or if they retire early, they still get the money from these contracts because it's guaranteed money. And it's the same way with this Kyle Tucker. It's guaranteed money for 4 years, no matter how bad he performs or if he retires in the middle of it. I don't see him retiring in the middle of it, but that does happen. But it's guaranteed money. And it's too bad that Major League Baseball will never have a salary cap, because these teams, and this is no exaggeration, especially some of the bigger owners, in off seasons, they could spend $900 million building teams. Look at the Yankees. They've done it for decades. They've done it for years on years on years on end, because they know they have the money to delve out. And it's really ridiculous. And I just wish Major League Baseball would start doing salary caps, because if you look at the other sports like NBA and the NFL, I didn't even mention hockey because I don't really follow hockey that much. And if you look at the other sports, yeah, I know you had the Chiefs dynasty, but you look at the parity of it is different, because it's hard to maintain it year in and year out. And you look at the teams that are competing for the Super Bowl, it's teams you wouldn't expect. It's teams you would not expect. Oh my God, if they had salary caps and college sports like football, it would be even worse. It would be even worse. And I just hope that someday Major League Baseball can fix, well, one, their steroid issue, which I haven't brought up, and two, their salary cap, which is utterly ridiculous. I mean, look it up sometime. Look up the top 10 contracts in Major League Baseball, and it's eye-popping. It's eye-popping because a lot of these professional players could actually help with the homeless situation because they get paid that much. The owners could actually help with the homeless situation because they're the ones that are delving out the money, literally. Me and Mom are saying that's all for now.
That's all for now.